And we are watching this developing story for you. The Trump administration is now moving ahead with its crackdown on illegal immigration. Our next guest has vowed the largest ICE deployment ever to New York City as Mayor Mamdani and Governor Hochul lay out new anti-ICE policies. Border Czar Tom Homan joins us now. Tom, it's good to see you, and thank you so much for coming back to the program. What's the update here, and what are the next steps with the administration on this crackdown?
Well, look, we've been locked out of Rikers Island for years. I mean, I had an agreement with prior Mayor Adams to get back into Rikers Island. Of course, the city council sued to keep us out of Rikers Island. And Governor Hochul just signed legislation that ended our 287G agreements that we had in that state and stopped cooperation. So I met with the governor several months ago and told her, here's how we fix Minnesota. We fix it by having the sheriffs come to the table and let us have access to criminal alien, the safety and security of a jail, which is safer for the officers, safer for the aliens, certainly safer for the community. And she also limited, we can no longer rent jail beds for the people we arrest to keep them detained in the local area, which means everybody we arrest in New York now will simply fly to Texas. I have no problem with that, but how is that favorable to the migrant community? It's not. So look, we got to do what we got to do. When I lose the efficiencies of a jail, where one agent can arrest one bad guy, and they release him to the street, now I got to send a whole team, a few jobs team, which is 6 or 7 people for officer safety reasons, to find that person. So we got to increase the resources, do the same job we were doing, less resources. And another point, when we're on the street to find a bad guy, and we find him, many times he's with others that may not be a public safety threat, but they're in the country illegally. Well, guess what? They're coming too, so collateral arrest will increase. This is a result of sanctuary cities, not working with us.
Yeah. So in terms of sanctuary cities not working with you, Tom, Secretary of Homeland Security Mark Wayne Mullen suggested, well, maybe at big airports and sanctuary cities, I would imagine JFK, LaGuardia, maybe in the Newark area, we'll pull customs agents from those airports, which obviously would slow down entry into those airports, people coming in from overseas, people returning home from overseas. New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Denver, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, all potentially in the crosshairs here. Here's what Secretary Duffy said about that plan. Listen here.
We have people from around the world and around the country that need to be able to fly into all different kinds of places. We shouldn't shut down air travel in a state that doesn't agree with our politics.
I mean, this idea of pulling customs agents from these major airports, I'm reminded of that line from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. What's your goal here, to get everybody to hate you?
Well, look, I'm not going to, Secretary Mullen came up with the idea. I know he's getting a lot of support on the Hill. My idea is send more ICE agents. Because we're forced into the street, send more ICE agents to do that job. And people we arrest, fly them out of state because you put us in that position. I think we doubled down. And we doubled down for one reason, because we want to we want to take public safety threats off the street. Let's not forget Lake and Riley and all these other young ladies that were raped and some were murdered by these illegal aliens. I want to prevent I don't want to meet another angel mom or dad. I don't want another angel mom and dad. I want governors and mayors and members of the Hill to agree with me. If you're in the country illegally and you're a public safety threat, this should be a nonpartisan issue. Let's all work together. For instance, in New York City, Rikers Island, when you have an illegal alien booked in Rikers Island, why did they book him in Rikers Island? Because they obviously perceive him as a public safety threat. So if he's a criminal alien, he's a public safety threat, why in the world would you not work with us to not only remove them from the community, remove them from the country, which makes those streets safer? And as far as the local police, Governor Hochul made a statement, she wants local cops to do local cop stuff. Well, local cops are doing a lot more local cop stuff because they're arresting the same illegal alien over and over and over again because we don't have access to them and remove them the first time. Working with us would put more police officers on the ground to do more work. It's a clear efficiency.
Yet, Tom, this is what you're up against. This is the New York City mayor when he talks about ICE. Listen.
We have heard time and again threats of increases in immigration enforcement across our city. I want to be very clear about the fact that I believe that ICE raids are cruel, they are inhumane, they do nothing to serve in the interests of public safety. I've shared that directly with the president. I've shared that in public. It is a feeling that many New Yorkers share. And I also do believe that ICE as an entity is one that should be abolished and that we should return to an immigration system that has more humanity at the heart of it.
So you've got the mayor calling to abolish ICE, calling ICE raids cruel and inhumane. He says they do nothing to serve the interests of public safety. How do you respond to the mayor?
When I was ICE director, we took over 5,000 criminal aliens off the streets of New York. You're welcome, Mayor Mamdani. And look, let's not forget, ICE agents have found 146,000 children that were smuggled in this country under the Biden administration they weren't even looking for. Many of these children victims of sex trafficking and forced labor. Let's not forget the amount of fentanyl ICE agents take off the street every single day. The number of cyber crimes they solve that put people in prison who take advantage of young children, film them, and send it to the rest of their sick enclave. ICE officers save lives every day. Where was he the last 4 years where 250,000 Americans died from the open border? Where was Governor Hochul? Where were they when we had a record number of aliens dying making that journey? In 4 years, over 4,000 aliens died making that journey. A record number of women and children sexually assaulted making that journey. Where were they then? No, the most humane thing you can do is what President Trump has done. Secure the border, saves lives, and enforce immigration law and send a message across the world. We're not going to tolerate illegal immigration more, especially when you come to this country and commit a vicious crime against U.S. citizens. We're not slowing down. We got our foot on the gas.
Tom, last Friday, the Senate passed that $70 billion funding bill that would fully fund CBP and ICE, not just the operations, but everything around it as well, the support apparatus. The House is expected to take that up in the hours ahead. Here's what Secretary Markwayne Mullins said about the necessity to get the funding fully up.
70% either have pending criminal charges on them or they already are convicted felons. We're taking the worst of the worst off the streets with the best of the best, and that's ICE, and that's exactly who Adami wants to abolish. Well, this is exactly why we need to fund ICE and CBP for 3 years and take it off the plate, because these radical left Democrats want to have open borders and lawlessness running through our streets.
So again, the Senate passed it last Friday. The House apparently getting the numbers may be a problem. What would you say to Republicans who may be thinking about either not showing up for the vote or voting against it?
Well, shame on them. I mean, President Trump was put in the Oval Office mainly because of immigration enforcement securing the border. Markwayne Mullins, the right guy, doing the right thing at the right time. And he's backing the men and women of ICE and backing men and women of the Border Patrol, and he wants what I want. He wants us to simply enforce the laws enacted by Congress without interference from politicians who just simply don't want to give Trump a win. Every criminal threat we take off the street across the country and in New York makes that neighborhood safer. They should be working with us on this, making these communities safer. I don't understand it. They care more about politics than they do about the safety of their own neighborhoods. It rocks my world.
Yeah.
I can't understand it.
Tom, we know we've got to let you go. 5 seconds left here. Just when you meet with the governor, Governor Hochul, you said you did. You used Minnesota as an example. Like, how does she respond to you directly? Can you share anything about that?
She got back to me. Well, she got back to me by signing that legislation. So she sent a strong message. She don't care about her community. She wants to lie to American people because she says she cares about criminal aliens. We should be focusing on them. She can't say that. Then lock us out of the jails and end 287G agreements. You can't square that. She can't square that. So we're going to do what we got to do.
Got it.
All right. We'll be watching.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.